We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. New Global Day honors trans-inclusive, sex-positive rebel Dykes celebrating 1980s London activism, outsider lesbian culture, protest, and community beyond queerness.
Increasing U.S. LGBTQ+ asylum searches to Canada follow anti-LGBTQ+ Trump actions and fears amplified by killing of Renee Nicole Good.
From inception, The Sims embrace LGBTQ+ lives, offering queer players freedom, representation, and a safe space to explore identity.
YouGov survey shows Americans see transphobia widespread among Republicans amid rising anti-trans legislation and bipartisan concern over ideology and wokeness.
Texas A&M administrators directed a philosophy professor to remove Plato readings on same-sex love, sparking concerns over censorship and academic freedom.
All this important LGBTQ+ news and a whole lot more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as in the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 11 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Monday, January 12th, 2026. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Hotspots magazine Happening Out television network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ+ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out television network. Hotspots Happening Out is a proud beneficiary of the 2026 Florida AIDS Walk, standing strong by our healthcare pillar. Funds raised are matched dollar for dollar in support of our HIV policy reform and educational programs, including our MSM conference. We invite you to donate and join us March 21st to walk in support of the Hotspots Happening Out teams.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this very table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ+ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor William Haas. Will is a bi-coastal real estate professional and is the past president of South Florida's most popular gay social club, the Bears of South Florida. He also serves as a realtor with Exit Realty of Naples and an advisory board member of Freedom Waters. Will, Naples Pride, yes! Naples Pride Gala is coming up. Naples Pride Gala 2026 celebrates resilience and joy on January 24th. Tell me what's happening out, Will.
Naples Pride invites the community to 2026 Naples Pride Gala. These colors don't run on Saturday, January 24th at 5:30 p.m. at the Naples Grand Beach Resort. The black tie evening with pride colors flares celebrate LGBTQ+ resilience, visibility, and love. Guests will enjoy a gourmet dinner, cocktails, live entertainment, a silent live auction, and dancing, hosted by Miss Bouvier, with music from Good Vibes Live, DJ Kuji, and vocalist Deanna Mayo. The gala supports Naples Pride Center's vital programming servicing Southwest Florida. Tickets are available at naplespride.org. I cannot wait for this event. I got my tux already. I got to find the right bow tie. What color do you think I should wear, Faye?
Oh my God, I don't know, because you have so many bow ties, you know? I mean, and you know, when it comes to Naples Pride, you folks went through the ringer last year, yet you put on this incredible pride. Like you said, these colors don't run, all right? They tried to stop you at every corner, and every single time they closed the door, Will opened up another door much bigger. All right.
Yeah, it's round down. Yeah.
But I'm saying, is it like from working with the Bears, is that what gives you this fire in your butt to like fight this much?
It does. You know, we're all fighting for a good cause, and this is our second gala, and the first one was absolutely amazing. We partied and danced all night, and we put that one together in 5 weeks, and this one we've had a full year to put together, so I can't wait to see how this is going to be. And our tickets are selling fast, so make sure you get your tickets. And I mean, Naples Pride is small and mighty, and we're fighting.
Oh, but what a wonderful MC you have. Miss Bouvier is an incredible MC, and I don't say that lightly because I'm an MC, all right? So, but Miss Bouvier kicks butt, and you know, Naples Pride is like, she has said it herself, a piece of her. I mean, she fought so much for Naples Pride that it's incredible. I
mean, she's just an amazing person, and I can't thank Miss Bouvier enough for the things that she did for us, and you know, we should be proud to have her.
Yes.
Which we are.
Sure. That's for sure. So Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Naples Pride Gala 2026 on January 24th. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Kevin Lee. He's a 3-time #1 best-selling author, a transformational speaker, and intuitive life coach. This native Texan is on a mission to help you find your life purpose, spiritual fulfillment, and true happiness. Kevin Lee, welcome back to the show, boo, and I'm so happy that you're here.
What's up, my chickadee?
My chickadee, I love that. So Kev, I have a question for you, right? So yesterday was something called like National Quitters Day or something like that.
That was actually Friday.
Oh, was it Friday?
It's the second Friday of every January.
Okay.
And so this weekend, what's interesting is that, you know the app called Strava that we all use like when we're walking or running? You know, right? You know the one when you're running?
Yeah.
So anyway, so this app identifies that a lot of people drop off on their New Year's resolutions because the activity plummets over the weekend. So that's why they call it unofficially Quitters Day. And what's interesting is when I talk to my clients about their goals for the new year, one of the biggest things is a bit of shame because they've already announced it on social media, right? So they feel guilty.
They told their friends.
Everybody, friends, family, coworkers, everybody's already knows what they have and have not done, right? And so I just tell them, look, you can choose again. And I tell them, say that, I can choose again right now. And so our viewers, that's all you really need to do. Just give yourself a little bit of grace, give yourself a little bit of kindness, and just choose again right now. It's simple as that. But I would say be very smart, right? Specific, measurable goals that you could actually, like for myself, I'm going to the gym this year. This is the first time in 25 years that I've been in the gym on a regular basis. And you know what? I decided not to go 5 days a week. So I'm going 2 days in a row for 1 hour max. Take a day off, go back and repeat. In the weekend, I go do walking with front runners, right? So that's my measurable goals. And it's a few days a week and it's a few minutes or hours each day. And that's what we can do. Just do something really measurable, be gentle to yourself, kinder to yourself, and just choose again.
So you're saying get back on the horse and give yourself attainable goals.
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe that big goal of losing weight and stopping smoking all in the same breath is maybe a lot to do.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the gym is not a goal.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week for 1 hour each time, 30 minutes each time. I'm going to do 1 day of cardio, 1 day of weightlifting. So have goals. Those are measurable goals.
And reasonable goals too.
I love that. Did you have any resolutions, Mr. Núñez?
I can choose again now.
That's amen. Literally. Amen.
Literally. All right. I can choose again now.
He's choosing again right now. Kevin Lee, thank you so much for being back at the table at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table, Jason Núñez. Jason is a trailblazing leader, a passionate entrepreneur, and fierce advocate for equality. He's the president and CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and as a third-generation minority Air Force veteran, he has served at the Pentagon, the White House, the State Department, and the Department of Labor. Jason, Masquerade in Pink returns on February 26th. Tell me what's happening out.
Absolutely. So the Pink Nail Society presents its second annual Masquerade in Pink Ball on Thursday, February 26th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at Hunter's Nightclub in Wilton Manors. This glamorous evening invites guests to dress in pink elegance, don a masquerade mask, and come together for a powerful cause, raising awareness for prostate cancer. The event will feature lively entertainment, curated culinary experiences, and a vibrant community atmosphere. Hosted by Pink Nail Society, the ball blends celebration with purpose, creating an unforgettable night of impact and connection. More details at flockfestevents.org. So I'm super excited about this event because it'll be the second time in my life that I've donned on a masquerade mask. The first time was about 28 years ago at my first gay club in Honolulu.
Oh,
I know.
And it was a masquerade ball, your first one?
It was Halloween, so I put on a masquerade ball because don't ask, don't tell. And we couldn't tell who it was, so it was great. It was, I kissed a boy and I liked it. All right.
Yeah, okay. And so now you will be donning one again.
In support of prostate cancer with Pink Nail Society, Flockfest. I mean, Stephen Tendrick and that organization, absolutely amazing. It's one of those things that in our community needs to be, more awareness needs to be made. The care needs to be made. We need to care for ourselves in that respect too.
And you would be surprised. Like, you would think that gay men would have no issue going to get checked, right? And they still do. And especially if you have
love a finger.
That's what I'm saying. It's just one, and it's and it's usually the smallest one. I mean, it takes 2 minutes. The incredible Mr. Mark Hunter, who is the owner of Hunters, is a strong advocate, and he's also a survivor and a thriver of prostate cancer. And he'll be the first to say, without good health care, right, which we're all fighting for, right, without the proper treatment, without early detection, he probably wouldn't be here. Still ballrooming and dancing to our heart's content. And that's what Stephen Tendrich and John Gordon and all those folks are. That's their goal. That's their intention, to make sure that more people go get checked out, and know their status.
Well, I think people are just afraid, they would not know what's going on, then actually deal with what's going on. And this is a good cause, and we actually need to promote that it's okay to get tested for various things, and we're all going to get stuff, but we need to be there for one another. And an event like this actually helps support people. And
well, it's better to know. When I was reading this earlier today, this news piece, I didn't even know the statistics for men who have sex with men and this rectal cancer incidence, right? So the ratio is men who have sex with men, whether they're gay, bisexual, or what have you, they are 80 times more likely to get rectal cancer than heterosexual counterparts, right? And so my mother laughed when I told her, "Mom, I got a pap smear," and she goes, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah," but I didn't go into the full details. But when you go to your doctor, when men who have sex with men go to their doctor, you can get a pap smear, and the pap smear is very easy. It's just a little swab right in the rectum, and they're looking for precancerous or cancerous cells in the specimen, in the biopsy. And so it's really easy to do. It doesn't hurt at all. And also, you can check for prostate cancer. You mentioned prostate cancer, Faye. And so for that, they can do a blood test. Super easy. Check the PSA level, right? And or as we mentioned, the finger. It's super easy.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, there's no
Super
reason,
important.
and again, let's reiterate, if you have any kind of cancer in your family, you have any history at all, and I mean any kind of cancer, you should be checking yourself out before anybody else, And I just got news today that our very own Eric Restivo is going to be hosting the event.
Oh, nice.
So adore him, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure. And I love that it's, there's a purpose behind this gala. I mean, there's a purpose behind most galas. And I'm also glad that it's not in October with all the other galas. So, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate you.
Well, I can't wait to find my pink dress. Yay. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Masquerade in Pink on February 26th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, the extraordinary, the talented FayWhat. She is a legendary event host, television radio show personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out, the FayWhat Show. Fay, My Hollywood Pride, VIP Kickoff lights up Hard Rock Guitar on January 23rd. Tell me what's happening out.
Oh, I can't wait for this. So out and proud and lighting up the sky, My Hollywood Pride launches Pride celebrations with an unforgettable VIP kickoff event at the Guitar Lighting on January 23rd from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Hollywood, presented by Seminole Hard Rock. This exclusive cocktail reception takes place in private cabanas overlooking the iconic Guitar Hotel as it lights up for Pride for the very first time ever. Guests will enjoy an open bar, curated hors d'oeuvres, and networking with community leaders and elected officials. This fundraiser supports My Hollywood Pride, a 501c3 mission. More details available at myhollywoodpride.org. So I'm super excited about this. It's the 5th year of My Hollywood Pride, and I love their tagline that says Pride starts here, right? Because it's so needed. I need a Pride. I mean, like, I need a Pride bad in January, especially with everything going on in this world and the political climate, et cetera, So this year, the Seminole Hard Rock wanted to get into the action. Eric Eldridge, I see you, boo. And he wanted to be part of the kickoff. And so the 23rd, that Friday night, we're going to have this incredible VIP kickoff for My Hollywood Pride. And we're going to light up that guitar. And I'm hosting, right? So I want to have like a Heidi Klum moment where I'm like, and now kaboom! And the whole thing just lights up. I'm hoping that happens. And if it does, Jason, you got to film it.
Got it.
But, Seminole Hard Rock doesn't do anything like a quarter way. They really go above and beyond. So if they're having this event by the Cabanas area, they're going to have stations with food and culinary delights and food and drink and all kinds of surprises along the way. Because again, they don't do anything minimal, and they wanted to be part of My Hollywood Pride, and now they are, and they're kicking it off in a big way, and I can't wait to be a part of it.
Yeah, huge shout out to Jeff Oliverio and the rest of the team. They're adding events for My Hollywood Pride. Like they added the comedy, the lighting, and kudos to them. I mean,
brunch. They have the brunch coming up
now.
This weekend. Yes.
Their 5th year, and they've grown so much. And I too love Pride starts here. I do love when Pride season starts, because then you just could perpetually keep your rainbow out, starting with My Hollywood Pride all the way to the end of the year. But I'm super excited to go to the Hard Rock. Seminole doesn't do anything half-assed. They also don't do anything just to do a checklist. Like, Eric is very deliberate and intentional about everything that he does. So thanks, Eric, for all that you do for the community. Thank you, Jeff.
He's not one that's going to say, oh, just put my logo on it. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? He's like, we're going to blow up the whole guitar. What colors do you want?
He is literally hands-on. He is hands-on, very tactical. And then, of course, huge shout out to Jeff Oliverio and the team. I'm super excited. And then brunch this weekend.
They've come a long way, and you should be proud of yourself, Jeff, and My Hollywood Pride should be absolutely amazing.
Well, they're moving from Sunday to Saturday, right? The last couple of years they've been on Sunday, and now they're moving to Saturday from 1 to 10 p.m., and they'll be at that park right there in downtown Hollywood. So they're even expanding into a beautiful space as well.
Yeah.
They don't get no better.
No.
So proud of them. Close us out, Will.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at My Hollywood Pride VIP Kickoff on January 23rd.
I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up lesbian and queer women. International Rebel Dykes Day launches to honor outsider lesbian culture. A new global observance celebrating outsider lesbian culture is launching this month. The first International Rebel Dykes Day will take place on the 29th of January, honoring the legacy of Rebel Dykes, a trans-inclusive, sex-positive lesbian activist community that emerged in the 1980s in London. The movement traces its roots to the Greenham Common Women's Peace Camp and became known for its anti-capitalist politics, gender non-conforming style, and direct action, including protests against Section 28. Rebel Dykes were also closely tied to the legendary fetish club night chain Reaction, which opened on January 29th, 1987. Rebel Dykes documentary producer Shoban Fahy says, quote, "It's very hard to pin it down. It's words like punks, activists, and outsiders, the dyke within the straight world," end quote. Fahy said, "The day is meant for those who feel excluded by mainstream ideas of queerness. Quote, a lot of us just don't fit in. We don't fit into that queer stereotype. So I would call on women who feel like outsiders in whatever way they want to be to have this day, end quote. Since the documentary's release, exhibitions, archive events, and club nights have emerged across the UK, and I am loving it. You know, from my seat, outsider lesbian culture has always been kind of like the heartbeat of our community as lesbian. Loud, messy, political, and gloriously unbothered. You can't bother me. I'm a lesbian. Rebel Dykes didn't ask for permission. They just kind of took up space no matter what. Celebrating them isn't nostalgia. It's a reminder that visibility was built by women who refused to be polite about their existence. And we should celebrate them, and we should have more documentaries like this. We were just talking about a documentary about
Queens.
About Queens. And it's like, every single documentary needs to be to be made of our community, of our history, of our queer history, because we all need to see where we came from.
Yep.
You know, women are the first marginalized community.
Yep.
Literally. Okay? Adam and Eve, that's how it was. First, you're marginalized, you're a girl, that's it. You know, so to have these folks kind of standing up for a group of people that were marginalized and maybe left unseen to many, inspires me here in 2026.
You know what it reminds me of just a little bit is that back in the, back in the 80s when they had ACT UP, right? So we had these outsiders within the gay community that were very much rebels. And so a lot of us in the community were so fearful. We were quiet. We were silent. We were fearful for being targeted. We were fearful for having our insurance taken away, our jobs taken away, our families excluding us. And so a lot of us were silent. And the ACT UP group stood up and they rebelled against the queer norm, and they said, we're not going to tolerate this. And so they made a front. And I see a little bit of similarity with the group Rebel Dykes, because they mentioned the outsiders didn't really fit into typical queer culture. So I think it's just a beautiful concept, because so many of us, for different reasons, gender, expression, identity, maybe we don't typically fit into the stereotypes.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very interesting part of our culture and our history, and I love it.
It sounds like it'll be an exciting event. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, it makes me want to go. I mean, just the way, everything's going on.
Yeah.
A little bit of rebel in heart.
You could. Well, you are a rebel. And I make you a rebel dyke. There. You can only have that happen from one to another that way, But I mean, that's, you mentioned ACT UP, right? And I love the inclusivity of this, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here in the United States, where I am constantly screaming that trans women are women, period, right? And then you see a group like this that is like, yes, we have gender nonconforming, we have trans people, and that's it. We're just all dykes. That's a beautiful thing. That's how we should be. Yeah. Period. And that also brings me to thinking about the AIDS crisis, right? We've had this conversation, you and me, Kevin, about when the lesbians were the ones that were at the bedside of the gay men.
They sure were.
Right? Because, during that time, for whatever reason, men were less passable. Okay. And a woman lesbian passed in society as just being a housewife or just being a woman that worked outside of the house, It was never labeled as a lesbian or a dyke. So they were able to move around freely, get the paperwork done that the men needed to get their health care, So stories like this could never be forgotten, ever.
I'm William Haas, and let's queer up the USA View. LGBTQ plus Americans search for asylum in Canada after ICE shooting and rising anti-queer policies. Almost a year after Donald Trump's inauguration, queer Americans are increasingly considering safety beyond the U.S. borders. Trump has signed measures recognizing only two sexes, restricting gender-affirming care for trans youth under 19, eliminating DI initiatives from the military, and declaring trans people, quote, unfit for military service, end quote. Those fears intensify after the killing Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother, wife, and U.S. citizen who was shot by ICE agents in Minneapolis. The city confirmed she later died at Hennepin County Medical Center. The shooting sparked protests and condemnation from Mayor Jacob Frey, who said, quote, ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We don't want you here. Your stated purpose for being in the city is to create some kind of safety, but you're doing exactly the opposite. We will pursue justice, and we will do so as quickly as possible, end quote. GLAAD reported anti-LGBTQ plus incidences are rising between May 2024 and May 2025, 932 incidents were tracked down nationwide. Canada does not grant asylum based on queer persecution, though approval for Americans are rare. Immigration Advice Services says interest in moving to North growing, noting for U.S. citizens moving to Canada relatively straightforward, especially for skilled workers or family sponsorships. However, processing times can range from 6 months to 2 years, depending on the immigration route. This is just sad. I mean, look what we're coming to in this country like this. You know, everybody always wanted to migrate into the United States, and we accepted everybody. Now it's like, you know, but our systems are so antiquated. You know, it's not really, you know, we need to upgrade our systems. Maybe instead of spending money on ICE, we spend money on internal services to get this taken care of. And there's no reason to pick on the LGBT. And this poor woman got killed. I mean, she's, you know, she left a kid behind and a wife, and actually 3 kids and a wife behind. It's just a shame that this is where our country's leading to.
And what I think what's even more sad, I heard recently about this, is that that ICE agent is a federal employee, right? He's acting under federal rules. So there's an immunity, which really upsets me, because I don't know how much weight the mayor or whoever, I can't remember who that was, the mayor or the governor, somebody was saying we will bring charges. Well, I don't know.
They're not allowing them to be a part of any of the investigation, so they won't be able to.
So I feel really bad for the family and for the city as a whole.
Well, like, she can run away with her car and get out of there because she's fearful, but he's fearful for his life, so he shoots her in the face.
I know.
That's the, you know, I mean, look, when LGBTQ plus Americans start Googling asylum in Canada, that's not drama, that's safety, okay? You know, policy isn't abstract when it gets people killed or terrified. We shouldn't have to choose between citizenship and just surviving, you know? If the message from your government is you don't belong, people will listen and start leaving.
That's true.
932 cases. That's about 2.5 a day. I mean, that's absurd to even think about. It's super sickening just to think about.
Okay, and look, and I look at you, Jason, okay, and you are my brown brother, and I adore you to pieces, right? But you don't walk around with your passport. You could get picked up right now leaving the studio because of how you look.
Sure.
You know, this is the world that we live in. I have friends who carry around their passport because they've been stopped on more than one occasion, and they literally just put their hands up because they're deathly afraid. The PTSD is real.
Alligator Alley. I've seen it many times going to St. Pete in that part of the state, and you'll see a lot of cars pulled over, and they are of Latin origin. The people that are on the ground, the police are at their car. It's very heartbreaking.
It's more like the American Gestapo versus ICE.
Yeah,
you know, that's what the real name should be. It should be the Gestapo.
Well, and just think about who are the ICE agents. They're people that didn't make it as a cop. You know, I mean, I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up entertainment. How The Sims became an LGBTQ plus cult classic. Here's a brief history of how The Sims became one of the most beloved games in the queer community. Whichever way you cut it, The Sims is for the queers. From its earliest development, LGBTQ plus life was backed into the DNA of the life simulation franchise created by Will Wright. Same-sex relationships in early gaming were very controversial, and LGBTQ characters were nearly excluded in the first Sims game. The turning point came at E3 in 1999, when 2 female Sims unexpectedly by mistake began kissing during a live demo. Programmer Patrick J. Barrett III later recalled that moment helped define the series' future. Barrett joked, quote, "You might say that they stole the show. I guess straight guys that make sports games love the idea of controlling 2 lesbians," end quote. Behind the scenes, developers refined attraction systems to allow same-sex, opposite-sex, and bisexual Sims. While marriage wasn't available to same-gender Sims in the first game, joined unions were available in Sims 2, and finally marriage for all in Sims 3. For many queer players, The Sims became a safe space to explore identity. Over time, expanded gender options, pronouns, and polyamory cemented The Sims as a true queer classic. And let me tell you, The Sims was queer before the world had language for it, all right? It let us test drive our lives, our genders, our hair colors, our loves, our chaos, without the real world consequences or the real world judgment of us, you know? For a lot of people, that little pixelated family was the first place that we were honest about who we really were. No wonder it became a queer classic, because, I mean, it lets us exist in a world where there is no no judgment, no Trump, no, where it is love whoever you love and be whoever you really are.
Yeah. And it's you were able to create a character with whatever. Like there were no limits. And I think be you. I love the LGBT task force. The theme this year, it was great because The Sims was where your creativity came out, and it was a safe space. It was a game you can play for hours with friends. No friend turned to me and said, "Why do you have purple hair?" Like nobody cared.
No,
nobody cared.
And you could make friends. You could find a community virtually. Yeah. And you could also, you could create the version of yourself in anonymity. So you could really hide behind, you could express yourself, but still hide the anonymity of who you were so that your family, friends, coworkers didn't know, that you were queer. And so I think it's just it just is a wonderful outlet for the queer community. And that's why it took off.
Imagine folks that were maybe not in a safe place where they could not be out safely.
Religion, culture.
Right? Religion, culture, life, whatever. Trump, a million reasons. But in this game world, you were you. You had friends. You had love interests. Like, what a beautiful thing.
Oh, I get chills.
So thank you, Sims.
I'm Kevin Lee, and let's queer up the USA View. Poll finds most Americans say GOP has a transphobia problem. A new YouGov poll suggests most Americans believe transphobia is a serious issue within the Republican Party. According to the survey of over 1,100 U.S. adults, 64% say transphobia is at least somewhat of a problem among Republicans, with 44% calling it a major problem. Transphobia ranked as the second biggest issue. Respondents said the GOP has taken too far, ranking just behind hostility towards immigrants. Majorities also flagged white supremacy at 62% and conspiracy thinking at 71% as problems among conservative politicians. At the same time, 60% said trans ideology was an issue among Republicans, and 61% cited gender ideology, though the poll did not define those terms. The findings come amid a surge in anti-trans legislation. In 2025 alone, 125 anti-trans bills were passed. Since 2023, more than 1,600 bills targeting queer rights have been introduced nationwide. These laws include bans on gender-affirming care for trans youth, widely described by experts as life-saving. The poll also found concerns across party lines. 45% of respondents say they believe transphobia is a problem in the Democratic Party, while 55% say it's not. Conservatively, 37% say so-called, quote, wokeness, unquote, end quote, is a major problem for Democrats, while 34% think that the same about trans ideologies. This is a very sad story. Is it a surprise? No, it's not a surprise. We know that there is so much hostility towards the queer community. What you don't understand and what you're not willing to understand is why the others, the enemy, fears us, and why they are constantly trying to bring up this terminology of wokeness and use it as a weapon against us, when woke literally means, from a cultural perspective, that we are aware of what's going on. We see the light of truth. And so we're not willing to tolerate it, but it's been used against us, much like a lot of terminology. And it breaks my heart. Parents should have the unarguable rights to make medical decisions for their children, their trans children, with medical experts supporting them. And to attack that is really hypocritical? Is that the word? That's a big word for me today. Well, there's hypocrisy. Look, hypocritical. I'll take that word. Okay. And so what I think is this. Being a nurse and being in the OR for so many years, I know that there are some surgeries that some parents do for their children to lengthen the legs, to inject them with growth hormones because they don't fit society's standards of the proper size for the child. Isn't that pretty much the same thing as changing the body of a person who is going through trans operations? They've made a decision. But in these situations, the parents are basing this on personal desires, society's thoughts and considerations. And you know, it just is a bit crazy to me.
Well, I mean, if you want to get closer to home with that, and you being a nurse and you being in the OR, I don't know if you were ever when a child was being born, but I mean, lots of people being intersex is like having red hair. It's that common. Okay?
1 in 2,000 births. I know that number.
And when that, and you could please, if you know, I am not a medical person, but if maybe you can co-sign me with this, right? In the emergency room, when a baby is being born, if they are born with both genitalia, they just cut the one that's hanging out more. Okay, there's no question to the parent or anything. You don't know what that kid truly is, and that kid might be walking around with the wrong genitalia. Is that wrong? Yes or no?
Well, I've never seen that part of it, but what I do know is that 1 in 2,000 births have ambiguous genitalia. So that means they can't identify externally. Is it male? Is it female? Is it both? What is it? And so there's so much ambiguity, they have to go and do genetic testing. But even then it's questionable because of the fluidity of chromosomal gender. So, you know, and who gives a doctor the right to make a decision whether I'm male or female? Who are you to decide based on, you know, allow me to identify myself. So the fact that a professional is identifying me and literally, legally, I don't know what you'd call it.
Giving me my gender. You're literally giving me my gender without talking to my parents.
So a professional assigns it and later in life it's a problem? Well, why don't you go back to the person who assigned it?
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly. Again, you know, so there's a lot of trans and gender nonconforming people just walking among us that
and
had no choice. You know what I mean?
And they're living life beautifully, and a lot of them are doing very well. Some do have some psychological issues for identifying who and what they are. But I know a lot of transgender people who identify as neither male nor female, and they're very comfortable with it. And I think that is a positive trend that I'm seeing, and I'd like to see more of that.
Well, that would be a person that identifies as gender nonconforming, and that's you know, completely, you know. Let's just say that there's nobody here at the table who's trans, so we can't speak on the experience or what it entails to even be a trans person, right? But like, you know, this poll, you know, it's like, you know, Americans think that, you know, that a party has, you know, we have a transphobia problem in our country, you know, but again, but where does that come from, right? It comes also from the top.
Orthodoxy. Yep.
Right?
Amen.
Amen.
And a women.
I'm Jason Núñez, and let's queer up students and youth culture. Texas A&M professor told to cut Plato readings over LGBTQ plus content. A philosophy professor at Texas A&M University says he has been barred from teaching key works by Plato because they include same-sex love. On January 7th, Professor Martin Peterson was reportedly instructed by administrators to remove parts of his course. According to emails obtained by Daily News, Philosophy Department Chair Christy Sweet wrote that cutting certain material would bring the class into compliance with new university rules on race and gender. The emails allegedly direct the university to, quote, remove the modules based on race ideology and gender ideology and the Plato readings that may include these, end quote. The affected texts come from Plato's Symposium, including Aristophanes' Origin of Love myth, and Diotima's Ladder of Love, both of which mention love between people of the same sex. The move follows a November update from the Board of Regents stating that courses may not, quote, advocate race or gender ideology or topics related to sexual orientation or gender identity, end quote. Peterson criticized the policy as censorship, saying the readings support a lecture on sexual morality and that these topics are commonly covered in this type of course nationwide. In a response to Sweet, Peterson wrote, quote, Texas A&M is a public institution bound by the First Amendment. The Supreme Court has noted that academic freedom is a special concern of the First Amendment, which does not tolerate laws that cast a pall of orthodoxy over the classroom, end quote. So I remember in high school doing one of Plato's readings in drama class, and I did it for the sex scene. I guess that was.
Of course you did.
I guess that was when I first discovered that I might be gay. But censorship, like university, come on, like you're nitpicking now the courses. Like it's a different perspective. Do you want everybody to like think the same way, that'd be a boring ass country. I mean, and just the creativity of the classroom, and that if you're going to dictate what the modules are in the course, then why become a teacher? Anybody could do it.
Yeah.
Anybody could do it. Hey, you're going to teach this. You're going to basically, here's your script.
Here's a robot.
Here's a robot. Boom. Yeah. Everything can be online.
You know, when you're censoring Plato because he mentioned same-sex love, you've officially jumped the shark, okay? I mean, erasing philosophy doesn't protect students. It insults them, okay? Academic freedom means facing ideas, not sanitizing them. If Plato is too queer for college, the problem isn't Plato. It's politics in the classroom where it should not be.
Well, I mean, Greek philosophers were more welcoming, way back then than modern man. I mean, come on, let's face it. Way back, they could accept it back then, but now we can't, can't talk about it. It's taboo.
I mean, all the guys wore togas.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
Dressed.
Caligula. Caligula. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Hotspots happening out named Florida AIDS Walk 2026 beneficiary. LGBTQ plus lifestyle magazine Hotspots is back with another issue, with a feature on Hotspots happening out being named a Florida AIDS Walk 2026 beneficiary. The feature explores the journey of the once-for-profit magazine evolved into a nonprofit powerhouse supporting LGBTQ plus communities across Florida. Readers will learn about Hotspot's partnership with Happening Out, its $500,000 in annual media sponsorship, and its deep commitment to HIV/AIDS education, testing, and advocacy. Readers will also find out about Stonewall Pride, Pride Fete, and the return of the Men's Wellness Conference. This feature story and many more are included in your free copy of the upcoming issue of Hotspots magazine on stands this Thursday, January 15th. So I'm really looking forward to this year's AIDS Walk. Me and the anchors and everybody from Hotspots Happening Out, we've always walked with other teams. And now we're a beneficiary, rightfully so. We're an educational nonprofit tool used for queer people to access and get information about how to get tested, how to better, navigate healthcare, where to get tested, where things like that arise. And, to be able to bring these stories to all the folks that watch us every day, it's important. It's needed. We, in our lifetime, I'd love for AIDS to be eradicated. I'd love for the stigma to be raised and for people to go, oh, I'm going to get checked because I do every 6 months just because I want to know my status. I'd love to get to that place one time, at some point. And the Florida AIDS Walk does it every single year. They only have a certain amount of beneficiaries where they raise money and then they match the money dollar for dollar.
That's crazy.
Nonprofits are the first ones that were cut at every corner with who getting into power. So the ability to be able to get some of those so needed monies to help them recover and open up their services to so many as we do every single day is a godsend. So I'm really looking forward to this year's AIDS Walk for sure.
Absolutely. These fundraising events, all the charities and these big organizational money generators, they literally are the lifeblood or the electricity that brings the light on in so many of our centers across the state, across the world. And without these types of events, I walked in the AIDS Walk several years ago with Dr. Ellie Shockett and on the Happy Heinies team. And, I still have that T-shirt because it's freaking hilarious.
It's a cool shirt, Happy Heinies.
Happy Heinies, because what is he? He's gastroenterology, so he does colonoscopies. So that's why it was called that. But anyway, these organizations do so much to literally keep the light on at a time when our organizations are at risk of shutting their doors. And so I'm just thrilled that the AIDS Walk has just grown. It continues, and it's such a benefit for South Florida.
Right? Yeah. All right. And you could look on all our social media outlets to find out how you can walk with us if you'd like to walk for the Florida AIDS Walk coming up in March.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the USA view. GoFundMe for Renee Good's family surpasses $1 million after ICE shooting. A GoFundMe for the wife and the son of Renee Nicole Good has surged past $1.5 million in just days. Good, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen and mother of 3, was shot and killed by an ICE agent during an encounter in Minneapolis on January 7th. Video of the incident sparked protests and global condemnation of ICE. The fundraiser, created for her family, describes Good as, quote, pure sunshine, pure love, end quote. The portal has closed additional donations. With the organization Maddie Weiss noting, "Thank you for the generosity. We've closed the GoFundMe and will place the funds in a trust for the family. If you're looking to donate, we encourage you to support others in the need." We truly are grateful. More than 38,500 people donated as tributes and support and continues to pour in. I guess, no matter what they do, this is still a bad situation,
Right.
but at least the family has something to help support themselves and make through all this. And I want to thank everybody also that donated money for this. People came out in droves, and we have to support one another.
40,000 people. Look at that. 40,000 people donated. That's the power of the internet. And that's like a city of people donated for this cause. So the children, the wife who's been left behind, the community who's been affected. It's just amazing what people are doing to support this cause.
Yeah, but it's heartbreaking because that million,
right.
that
It
1
should
million,
never-
I can't,
never replace her.
anybody put yourself in that situation, and it's like, I'd shove $1 million up your ass, if you took away my wife. I can't even begin to understand what this family is going through. Talk about American type terrorism. That literally is that in your backyard to get killed in your own car. I can't even fathom that. And you want to keep on coming up with these videos and knew this and knew that.
What woman
mother effers, at the end of the day, you killed a mother.
What housewife or mom is a threat to a police officer that you are going to shoot a woman inside her vehicle? It just boggles my mind that somebody has the gall and the thought that they have the right to do that, to shoot you.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah, and they felt like they were in their all complete right. You couldn't shoot the tire, you couldn't shoot the car,
Right, exactly.
you didn't have to shoot her in the face.
You couldn't step out of the way.
You know what I mean? All of a sudden you have a good target, right? All of a sudden you can shoot. You know what I mean? It's just disgusting.
Domestic terrorism.
Exactly.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Reddit asks, the straight moments that felt pretty gay. A viral Reddit thread has LGBTQ plus folks reminiscing about unexpected, joyful intimacy with straight friends. One user asked, quote, "What's the gayest thing straight guys have done with you?" End quote. And the answers ranged from sweet to surprising. One recalled teen friends dancing pop choreography saying, quote, "They were so happy and felt so free," end quote. Others shared softer moments, quote, "Nothing sexual, more of a seeking intimacy type of thing, like cuddling, hugging, and laying head on my lap or my stomach type of thing," end quote. The story struck a chord celebrating connection, curiosity, and how queer joy can show up anywhere. So I think at the next pool party, I'm going to be like, "Can I put my head on your lap?" I just want to see what the reaction would be at that point. This is great. I'm all for cuddling.
You cuddle with your straight friends?
Wait, do I have straight friends? So it's cuddling, releasing endorphins. I'm all about cuddling. I love cuddling. I love body contact.
Yeah, but the Republicans probably see this as a recruiting tool for us. This is how we're
Correct.
recruiting.
This is how we groom people.
This is
how we groom
people.
There's so many social media folks too who are doing who ask that question. So it's always interesting to see what people's responses are. But
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the USA view. Wyoming Supreme Court strikes down abortion pill ban. The Wyoming Supreme Court has struck down the nation's first abortion medication ban, ruling 4-1 that it violates a 2012 state amendment protecting personal health care decisions. Chief Justice Lynn Baumgarten wrote, quote, "Although a woman's decision to have an abortion ends the fetal life, the decision is, nevertheless, one she makes concerning her own health care," end quote. Advocates celebrated the decision. Chelsea's Fund called it a landmark victory for reproductive freedom, adding that abortion is essential health care protected from government interference. Well, hallelujah. I love this because the Supreme Court is protecting personal health care decisions. I love that. Reproductive freedoms is so important. And next, I think they need to be focused on leaving the woman's womb alone. let's go there and deal with that, because women should have the right to make that decision.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I'm like, this is far away in Wyoming. Like, get off my uterus, my lord. Like, leave me the hell alone. And here's the reality, you freaking idiots. There are other pills that I could take to abort a freaking pregnancy. This is how dumb people are.
There's herbs for it. You don't,
my God. I don't need that pill prescribed. I mean, it's just, come on. It's ridiculous. It really is.
But kudos to Wyoming. I mean, I'm surprised and shocked, and I'm proud of you guys.
Get off the womb, get back on your horse, and get the hell out of here. Right?
1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Cynthia Erivo bites back. Dracula comes to the West End. Cynthia Erivo is trading her wicked witch cape for a vampire cloak. First photos are out from rehearsals for Dracula, a one-person West End show running from February 4th to May 31st. The Tony, Emmy, and Grammy winners plays Count Dracula and 22 other characters, marking her West End return after The Color Purple. Directed by Kip Williams, the Gothic production blends live video and theater. You can catch her discussing it all on the recent Graham Norton Show episode. So I will always have Cynthia Erivo in Wicked. I'm super excited to see her as a Dracula. Just not sure any of the other characters she's playing besides the Dracula.
Well, and how many other? 23 different ones?
22 other.
So they need to have live theater and video, because where and how is she going to change and doing 23 roles on one stage?
How's she going to bite herself?
You know
Dracula
what I mean?
bites people. How are you going to bite yourself?
That is also a very good point.
Come on.
Yeah.
How are you going to bite yourself?
Yeah, Dracula sucks. He's got to do it,
Well, I guess another one bites the dust.
I mean, haven't you tried to bite yourself, Will?
Maybe a few other things, but not biting.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share the news with your friends, your family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out television network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including William Haas, Kevin Lee. You can do "gur" if you want, no?
It's a girl, not girl.
And Mr. Jason Núñez. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We wish you a good night.